Welcome back, everybody, to Let's Talk About Sleep. Got to mention the book. Amazon link to this is in the description box down below. Book number 2, it's getting closer and closer and closer to the end, fortunately. So keep an eye out for that. As we get closer to 1,000 subscribers, one lucky viewer at random will get a signed copy of the current book, Let's Talk About Sleep. Here it is again. You got to be in it to win it, though, so please subscribe to the channel and share this with your friends and family. And lastly, as I always say, these videos are for education only. All right. So, what are we going to talk about today? Well, I'm sure I've done a video of this in the past, but I wanted to kind of give an updated one. What is the difference between CPAP and BiPAP? Now, BiPAPs were in the news a lot during the pandemic, the height of the pandemic, because that's what people were getting in the hospital. And they are known to help people to breathe. But what is the difference between them? Because they sound like they're the same thing, but they're not. So CPAP, what that is continuous positive airway pressure. That last P is the most important thing, pressure. And what it is, it's a mask that goes over the nose or in the nostrils or over the nose and the mouth. It blows pressurized air in, not oxygen, just air. Pressurized air that comes in and goes all the way down to the back of the throat, and it forces the airway open. So if somebody has obstructive sleep apnea where the airway is closing off, this pressurized air basically forces the airway open. It's kind of like an airway splint. So it forces the airway open. The person's allowed to breathe in and out as they normally would, and there's no problem. Okay, so the oxygen level rises up. They sleep better. They sleep more continuously. That's how CPAP works. Okay. BiPAP. Okay, and with CPAP, what happens is you're breathing in and out against this one pressure. So it's continuous pressurized air, right? So one stream of pressurized air. And believe it or not, the body actually adjusts to that. What BiPAP is, okay, so it's bi-level. BiPAP is actually the brand name, so it's BiPAP or bi-level PAP, positive pressurized air. What that is so there's 2 levels, right? So the lower level, what that is, so you may see someone like, let's say someone has a CPAP of a 6, right? It's the setting of 6. It's one setting. Somebody may have a BiPAP of 10/5, okay? What does that mean? Well, the lower number, what that basically is CPAP, right? So that lower number is CPAP. So that would be if somebody just took 5, CPAP 5, that would be what the lower number is doing. The top number, though, that's where the difference is. So the person breathes in, that's the lowest pressure there is, the 5, right? Or excuse me, when they breathe out, that's the lower pressure is 5. When they breathe in, the higher pressure takes over. Okay, so it's like higher pressure, lower pressure. Higher pressure, lower pressure. What does that do? Well, like I said, it keeps the airway open, right? Just like CPAP. But that higher, lower, what that actually does is it actually helps the lungs themselves. So CPAP doesn't help the lungs, right? CPAP keeps the airway open here, and the person is using their own breathing apparatus, right? They're using their lungs, right, to take in air, take in oxygen, get rid of carbon dioxide. What the BiPAP is doing, though, is because it has this 2 level, you're actually helping the lungs to inhale and then exhale, inhale and exhale. And what that does, at a kind of more of a microscopic level, is you're helping the lungs take in oxygen and get rid of carbon dioxide. Okay, so it's used in different things, whereas, sleep apnea, the lungs are fine, right? Obstructive sleep apnea, the lungs are fine, right? It's just a blockage here. The reason for BiPAP, though, is when there's sleep apnea, but there may be other things as well. So if somebody has, let's say, like a lung disease, like COPD, right? BiPAP might be useful. If somebody has, very, very severe, what we call hypoventilation. So their body is not breathing as deeply as it should, either from like a neuromuscular disease, like ALS or so, right? The BiPAP would be used there. Okay, so it's not just sleep apnea. Now, what happens sometimes, like during COVID, right? People were getting respiratory failure, okay, because basically the system was kind of getting overtaxed. A BiPAP was helping there. Not necessarily because of blockages, though they may have that as well, but the BiPAP was helping their lungs do their job. Okay? So that's the main difference. So we do use BiPAPs for just straight up obstructive sleep apnea sometimes. Like if somebody requires really, really, really high pressures, the 2 levels can make it a little bit easier for them to breathe out. Okay? But for the most part, though, when you see BiPAP, it's usually sleep apnea plus something else. Okay? So that's the difference. If you have any questions on this or any other topics we talked about, please leave them in the comment section down below. Please go get this or wait for the second book to come out. And please share this with your friends and family. And I think that's all I want to say today. Until next time, everybody, sleep well.